Most retirement advice sounds exactly the same. Save more, spend less, invest wisely, don't run out of money. Now, don't get me wrong, that's good advice. In fact, it's advice that has helped millions of people build financial security over the years. But there's a problem. It's incomplete. And when you follow incomplete advice for 30 or 40 years, something strange can happen. You can arrive at retirement financially prepared, but completely unprepared for retirement itself. Think about that for a moment. You spent decades working hard, you sacrificed, you delayed gratification, you skipped vacations, you drove the older car, you put money into your retirement accounts month after month, year after year, and then one day you finally reach retirement, but instead of feeling free, you feel anxious. Instead of feeling excited, you feel uncertain. Instead of spending the money you worked so hard to save, you find yourself afraid to touch it. I've seen this happen more times than I can count. The reality is retirement is about much more than money. It's about time, it's about purpose, it's about freedom. And most importantly, it's about living. Over the years, I've had the privilege of helping thousands of people navigate this transition. What I've learned is that retirement follows certain predictable principles. You can call them laws. And these laws determine whether someone spends retirement thriving or worrying, whether they spend retirement making memories or constantly checking account balances, whether they spend retirement living or merely surviving. Today, I want to walk you through 7 retirement laws that can completely change how you think about the next chapter of your life. Because if you're in your 50s, your 60s, or even approaching retirement, these may be some of the most important ideas you'll ever hear. Let's begin. Law number 1, the number is not the goal. The life is. Everyone has a number. Maybe it's $1 million, maybe it's 2 million, maybe it's 5 million, maybe it's 10 million. For years, that number becomes the target. The finish line, the magical point where life is finally supposed to feel secure. But here's something I've noticed. People reach the number and then nothing changes. They don't suddenly feel safer. They don't suddenly feel happier. They don't suddenly feel ready. Instead, they move the goalpost. Maybe I need a little more. Maybe one more year. Maybe after next bonus. Maybe after the market goes up. Sound familiar? The problem is that the number was never supposed to be the destination. It was supposed to be the vehicle. Money is a tool. It's not the purpose. I once worked with a man who had accumulated several $1 million before his early 60s. By every measurable standard, he was financially independent. He could retire comfortably. His family would be secure. His future was funded. Yet he couldn't bring himself to stop working. When I asked him what would change if he accumulated another $1 million, he sat quietly for a moment. Then he admitted something powerful. He didn't know. Nobody had ever asked him what the money was actually for. He had spent decades mastering the art of saving, but he had never spent time defining the life he wanted his savings to create. That realization changed everything. When we shifted the conversation away from account balances and toward experiences, family, travel, relationships, and purpose, retirement suddenly became real. He wasn't retiring from something, he was retiring to something. And that's the difference. Your retirement plan should never begin with a number. It should begin with a vision. What do you want your days to look like? Who do you want to spend time with? Where do you want to go? What memories do you want to create? Start with the life.
Then determine the financial resources needed to support it. Because at the end of the day, nobody gets to heaven and brags about having the largest IRA. What matters is how you lived. Law number 2. You don't have one retirement. You have 3. Most people imagine retirement as one long phase of life, a single chapter. But that's not how retirement actually works. Retirement is really 3 separate seasons, and understanding this can dramatically improve your decisions. The first season is what I call the go-go years. This is typically your 60s and early 70s. These are the years you've been dreaming about. The adventures, the vacations, the golf outings, the cruises, the family gatherings, the road trips, the experiences. You have money, you have health, you have energy. This is when retirement feels exciting. And yes, this period tends to be expensive, but that's okay. It's supposed to be, because you're finally cashing in decades of sacrifice.
The second season is the slow-go years. Usually your 70s into your early 80s, life starts slowing down, travel becomes less frequent, energy levels decline, priorities begin to shift. You still enjoy life, but differently. You're more selective, more intentional. The third season is the no-go years. This often begins in the 80s and beyond. At this stage, convenience, health and comfort become the priorities. Your world naturally becomes smaller. Healthcare expenses may increase. Long-term care considerations may emerge. And many of the discretionary spending choices from earlier years fade away. Here's why this matters. Many retirees mistakenly spread their retirement dreams evenly across 30 years. But life doesn't work that way. The years when you're physically capable of doing everything you've imagined are limited, much more limited than most people realize. That's why delaying retirement deserves careful thought, because every year you postpone retirement isn't just another year of income, it's one less year of health, one less year of energy, one less year of opportunity. Time is the only asset that never replenishes itself, and once it's gone forever. Law number 3, taxes matter more than most people think. Most people understand investment diversification. They know not to put everything into one stock, yet many people unknowingly put all their retirement assets into one tax category. And that can create problems. The truth is that retirement isn't just about growing wealth, it's about keeping more of what you've built. Having assets in different account types gives you flexibility. Some money may be tax deferred, some may be tax free, some may be taxable. Each serves a purpose. The goal isn't simply accumulating wealth, the goal is creating options. Because in retirement, unlike during your working years, you often have significant control over how and when income is recognized. That flexibility can help reduce taxes over the course of decades. And over a 20 or 30-year retirement, small tax decisions can create enormous differences. People spend years obsessing over investment returns, yet often overlook tax planning. The reality is this: it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And keeping more requires strategy. Law number 4, the order of returns matters. This is one of the least understood concepts in retirement. Imagine 2 retirees, both start retirement with identical portfolios, both withdraw the same amount. Both earn the exact same average investment return over retirement. You'd expect them to end up in roughly the same position, but they often don't. One may thrive, the other may struggle. Why? Because the sequence matters. If severe market declines occur early in retirement while withdrawals are being taken, the damage can be difficult to recover from. During your working years, market declines are often opportunities. You're buying investments at lower prices, but retirement changes the equation. Now you're withdrawing money, you're selling assets. And selling during downturns can permanently reduce the longevity of your portfolio. This is why having a thoughtful withdrawal strategy is so important. Retirement isn't simply about chasing the highest return, it's about creating resilience. It's about building a plan that can withstand uncertainty, because markets will fluctuate. That's guaranteed. The question isn't whether volatility will happen, the question is whether your plan can handle it when it does. Law number 5, the Social Security decision is bigger than most people realize. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood decisions in retirement: Social Security. Ask 10 retirees when they should claim Social Security and you'll probably get 10 different answers. Some people will tell you to take it as early as possible. Others will insist you should always wait until age 70. And then there are the countless calculators online that try to give you a simple answer. The problem? Most of those answers are incomplete. Here's what often happens. A calculator shows that if you wait until age 70, your monthly benefit will be significantly larger than if you claim at 62 or 67. And that's true, the numbers don't lie, but numbers only tell part of the story. Because while you're waiting for that larger benefit, something else is happening. You still need income. You still need to pay bills, you still need groceries, you still need gas, you still need healthcare. And if you're already retired, that money has to come from somewhere. For many retirees, it comes from their investment portfolio. That means every year you delay Social Security, you're withdrawing additional money from your investments. Now, here's where things get interesting. If markets are doing well, delaying might work beautifully. But what if markets aren't cooperating? What if those first few retirement years include a major downturn? Now you're pulling money from a portfolio that is simultaneously declining in value. That's a very different situation. This is why claiming Social Security isn't simply a benefits decision. It's a retirement income decision, it's a tax decision, it's an investment decision, and it's a lifestyle decision. Your health matters, your family history matters, your retirement date matters, your portfolio matters, your spouse matters. Everything works together. I've seen people delay benefits and come out far ahead. I've also seen situations where claiming earlier made far more sense. The lesson isn't that one strategy is always right. The lesson is that context matters. Retirement planning isn't about finding universal answers. It's about finding the right answer for your specific situation. And when you understand that, you stop looking for shortcuts and start building a strategy. Law number 6, the greatest retirement risk isn't running out of money. Now, this one surprises people, because if you ask retirees what their biggest fear is, you'll hear the same answer again and again: running out of money. It's a reasonable fear. Nobody wants to spend decades building financial security only to lose it later. Nobody wants to become dependent on others. Nobody wants financial stress during their later years. But after years of working with retirees, I've discovered something fascinating. Many people don't have a spending problem. They have a permission problem. They've spent 40 years saving, 40 years sacrificing, 40 years saying no, and then retirement arrives. But they don't know how to switch gears. They know how to save. They don't know how to spend. Every purchase feels irresponsible. Every vacation feels extravagant. Every experience feels like a threat to their future. So what happens? They continue living as though they're still preparing for retirement, even though retirement has already arrived. And that's heartbreaking, because money is supposed to create possibilities, not prison cells. Think about it. What was the point of all those decades of hard work? Why did you save? Why did you invest? Why did you delay gratification? Was it simply to die with the biggest account balance possible? Of course not. You saved because you wanted freedom, you wanted options. You wanted security, you wanted experiences, you wanted memories, you wanted time. And yet so many retirees become trapped by fear. They refuse the trip. They postpone the family gathering. They skip the experiences. They tell themselves maybe next year. Then next year becomes 5 years later. And suddenly their health changes, or their spouse's health changes, or someone they love passes away. And the opportunities they assumed would always be there disappear forever. I've sat across from retirees with substantial wealth who carried one enormous burden: regret. Not because they spent too much, because they spent too little. Not because they ran out of money, because they ran out of time. And time is far more valuable. You can earn more money. You cannot create more years. The truth is this: a successful retirement plan does more than protect your assets. It gives you confidence. It gives you freedom. It gives you permission. Permission to enjoy what you've built, permission to create memories, permission to help family members, permission to travel, permission to live. Because the ultimate purpose of money is not accumulation, it's impact, it's experiences, it's creating a life that matters. Law number 7, retirement is an emotional decision disguised as a financial decision. This final law might be the most important one, because it's the one nobody talks about. Most retirement conversations focus on spreadsheets, income projections, investment returns, tax strategies, withdrawal rates, all important. But eventually every retirement conversation reaches a different question, a much deeper question, a question that numbers cannot answer. The question is this: am I ready to let go? I've watched countless people approach retirement. The financial plan works, the investments are sufficient, the income is there, the insurance is in place, the math says yes, yet they still hesitate. Why? Because retirement isn't just the end of a career, it's the end of an identity. For decades, you've been known as something: an engineer, a teacher, a nurse, a business owner, an attorney, a manager, a leader, a provider. Your career gave you structure, it gave you routine, it gave you purpose, it gave you a reason to get up every morning. And when retirement arrives, many people discover they're not afraid of losing income, they're afraid of losing significance. That's a completely different challenge. Retirement isn't about stopping, it's about replacing. You must replace the income, but you must also replace the purpose. You must replace the structure. You must replace the social interaction. You must replace the sense of contribution. The happiest retirees I've ever met aren't the wealthiest. They're the people who retired towards something. They volunteer, they mentor, they travel, they serve, they teach, they create, they spend time with grandchildren, they strengthen relationships, they build a life that pulls them forward. That's what makes retirement meaningful. Without purpose, retirement can feel empty. With purpose, retirement becomes one of the greatest chapters of life. Before making your retirement decision, ask yourself these 5 powerful questions. First, what kind of life does this make possible? Not just financially, personally, emotionally, relationally. What becomes available if you retire? Second, what's the real cost of waiting? Not just in dollars, in years, in energy, in health, in opportunities. What experiences might disappear if you delay? Third, what's the long-term tax impact? Not this year, not next year, the next decade. Great retirement planning always looks beyond the immediate future. Fourth, am I protected during the most vulnerable years? Do you have a plan for market volatility, unexpected expenses, healthcare needs, economic uncertainty? Confidence comes from preparation. And fifth, can I actually enjoy this plan? Not survive it, enjoy it. Can you wake up excited about the life you've created? Can you spend money without guilt? Can you embrace the freedom you've earned? Because if your plan leaves you fearful every day, something is missing. At the end of the day, retirement is not a math equation. It's a life transition. The spreadsheets matter, the numbers matter, the investments matter, but those things are simply tools. The real goal is building a life worth living. The people who thrive in retirement understand something many never learn. Money is not the destination. Money is the vehicle. The destination is freedom. The destination is peace. The destination is meaningful relationships. The destination is creating memories with the people you love. The destination is waking up every morning and knowing your time belongs to you. One day you'll look back on your life, and I promise you this, you won't remember the balance of your retirement account on a random Tuesday. You won't remember the exact return your portfolio generated. You won't remember the size of your brokerage statement. You'll remember the moments, the trips, the conversations, the family dinners, the laughter, the adventures, the people, the memories. Those are the things that truly matter. So build your financial plan, save diligently, invest wisely, be responsible, but don't forget why you're doing it. You're not building a retirement account, you're building a life. And the greatest retirement plan isn't the one that leaves you with the most money. It's the one that allows you to make the most of the years you have left, because retirement isn't the end of your story. For many people, it's finally the chapter where they get to write it themselves.